Well, this afternoon, the Ghana Online Drivers Union is kicking against the Ghana Revenue Authority's decision to reintroduce payment of vehicle income tax effective January 1, 2024. In a statement released on the 27th of December this year, the union threatened to withdraw their services nationwide if the Ghana Revenue Authority fails to conduct broader consultations before the implementation of the tax. On your screens now, you have a copy of that statement coming through and explaining what exactly the concerns of the group is. And we know that they indicate that we're not too happy about the directive because there was no consultation or collaboration with us as stakeholders, just like the way the Ghana Revenue Authority imposed a VAT of some 21.9% on our commission from the 1st of July 2023. Likewise, the app companies Uber, Bolt, Yango did not engage us before the implementation of the VAT on the 1st of July 2023. So the key issues they are raising is that there's no legislative instrument that regulates the ride-hailing sector as a commercial entity, and also therefore it is illegitimate to tax our operations now. We do not know how much or what the cost of the VIT is, and we do not know whether the update required by the Ghana Revenue Authority, the ride-hailing companies, will affect our work. These are some of the concerns being raised, and should this new directive by GRA and the failure of the app companies to engage before the implementation take effect, then we will advise ourselves with the following. First of all, the first option is the nationwide strike. Then the group says they'll follow through with the institution of some operational costs and charges on logical fares, and then they would also likely engage in price negotiations before embarking on trips with riders, and then they'll also possibly consider a switch to an alternative preferred local app to promote made in Ghana goods and services. They're therefore appealing to the Ghana Revenue Authority to hold on to the implementation of the policy until a proper collaboration deepened with the union. So these are the concerns the group is raising. Francis Kweku is National Chairperson of the Ghana Online Drivers Union, joins us via Zoom now. Thank you so much, sir, for spending some time with us. Key concerns you're raising there, but everyone knows that this has been passed into law already. It's likely to take effect from next year.
Yeah, good afternoon to you and your cherished viewers. Well, it has been passed to law, but in every law there are exceptions, I can say that. So we are also hoping that this time around there will be some exceptions, because our work, as I said, or as we said earlier on in our statement, there has not been any legislation to officially operations as commercial drivers in Ghana since 2016.
And you know, you say that the possibility of a nationwide strike, that's how you're calling it. But what will be the implication, really? Is it the case that you'll not work on that day?
Yes, as at now, we don't know whether from 1st January 2024 our accounts will be put on hold. So usually what happens is that anytime there's an update on our driver's application, if you don't upload your document, or you don't update your document in your software driver's app, your account is being put on hold. You have to do it before you go to work. So we are waiting on 1st January 2024. Let's say from 12 midnight or 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. 1st January 2024, any of our members' accounts have been put on hold, then we will actually have no options than to go on a nationwide strike.
Have you engaged the Revenue Authority already on these concerns that you're raising?
Officially, we are waiting for GRA to actually engage us, because we have sent them a copy of our letter. So we don't know who to actually engage. So should they receive it, they have to actually call us so that we can actually talk to the appropriate authorities. The GRA is a very big institution. You might be speaking to someone who is not actually a final decision maker. So we are just hoping that they will actually call us in engagement, in a meeting, and then the right things will be done.
The feeling is that you're simply paying an indirect tax, or you are either just reeling under the effect of an indirect tax. Why are you not willing to, just comply simply deal with, for instance, the applications that you work with, Uber, Bolt, Yango, and all other ride-hailing apps?
Myself, I'm an accountant, so it is good to pay tax, and I know the importance of tax, what we use taxes for, and we support taxes. However, every driver in Ghana is already paying a value-added tax of 21.9% since July 1st, 2023. The reason why we are angry at this point was that when that was instituted first time, GRA didn't engage us. We were there and they implemented this. They are using the same means, the same medium. There's no involvement, there's no collaboration, there's no committee, there's no board, there's nothing. And our stakeholders who are working or who are using the platform, you're supposed to engage us. And so we are concerned. So what we are saying is that we're already paying a VAT of 21.9%. This is what happens. Because there's no regulation governing our sector, watch this, I want to give you the key. Now, Uber has included the 21.9% in its service fee. So we are paying a 20% per trip to Uber. So Uber is using that medium to collect the money to government. Now, Bolt, on the other hand, is taking the 21.9% directly from our earning. Yango, on the other hand, is not even taking any commission, any VAT at all. They said they are paying it to the government indirectly. We don't know how. And so because there's no regulations, some of the companies are really hiding behind the scene. I don't know whether they are duping the government or they're taking money from the government. How sure am I that we are over 20,000 drivers or 15,000 drivers? All the monies that are being taken actually goes to the government.
Yeah, but that should be government's business, isn't it, and not yours?
They are not doing the right thing. The right thing must be done. There should be a database. They should link the VRA needs to link its system to Uber, Bolt, and Yango. There should be a connection. You cannot just tell the driver to just pay and then they will not receive any.
So let me get you clearly. Who do you have a problem with government or the ride-hailing apps?
Both stakeholders. We have a problem with the government, that's the GRA, for initiating directives without engaging us, and then the app companies who are also, on the other hand, don't consider us as workers. They just consider us as part-time contractors, independent contractors, not workers. So this is our concern. The government is supposed to come into the sector and regulate that and make us commercial so that we can become commercial workers.
The point about the service you're rendering, why not go independent then? If you feel that these applications you're using are not serving your interest, it's as simple as that. You have a contract with Bolt, with Uber, with Yango, you could go off the platform.
To which of them?
Any of them.
If you don't, no, they are both, all of them are doing the same thing. So that's what you are saying that we
yeah, but that's exactly the point I'm saying. I'm saying that you're not tied or perhaps forced to engage in any sort of contract with these ride-hailing apps. They are more or less having a contractual agreement with you. If you feel that it's not working in your interest, why not go independent? You have the option of turning a vehicle into, say, a taxi, for instance.
No. Taxi. We are in a digital space now. The world has advanced now. Technology is good. You'll be at the comfort of your house, of your home. You request a vehicle. Straight up, a car comes to come and pick you to your destination, which is secure, which is fast and reliable. However, we are supposed to, there's supposed to be guidelines. There's supposed to be standards. Let me give you a typical example. Even commercial adverts with companies do in Ghana, billboards. It must be approved by FDA. But come to our ride-hailing sector, there's no, Ministry of Transport is not regulating it. And so Uber is operating how it feels like. Bolt is operating the way it feels at the expense of the drivers. As I speak now, we are paying different service fee, 20%, 25%, 18% and 12%, depending on how which partner you are driving with Yango. As I speak now, we are doing work and pay ×2. A car owner buys a car, maybe around 90,000 Ghana cedis, registers it, add insurance, everything is around 90,000, and double it to 180,000 Ghana cedis and give it to a driver to work. After working, and they will put in a contract, a clause in the contract that should you breach 2 weeks sales, the car will be taken from you. How can you be in a country? There's a sector you are watching, you are not doing anything about it. Drivers are going through this, we are already not happy. And so to come on board, come sanitize the system, let it be friendly, let it be economic. I say, we are the only sector that is paying value-added tax. GPRTU is not paying, truck drivers, taxi drivers are not paying. Because our sector, you can control us, you can have access to data. And with data, you can process it, you can do so much with it. So the government is supposed to come on board, ensure that all these things are working in our favor before they come on board to tax us. So we are already paying a VAT tax, which is a concern, plus the service fee that which you are paying. At the end of the day, we the drivers, we don't even know how much vehicle income tax we are going to pay. Imagine it is 200 Ghana cedis at the end of the year. The car owners are going to push that to us, and our sales are going to increase.
If your concerns are not dealt with, aside the nationwide strike, you've listed a number of issues that you want to do. Now you want to negotiate with, those who come in for your services and customers or those using the various ride-hailing apps. How do you intend to go about that?
It's a simple. Anytime a driver accepts a trip, drives to pick a rider and then completes a trip, then you are being charged a service fee. That is how the app companies make their money. Because they are refusing to actually acknowledge us, appreciate us, we are not going to use their software to work anymore. We will accept the trip, we pick information from the rider, call them, negotiate with them and say, okay, you are going to maybe Accra, it's 45 Ghana cedis. Give us 50 or 60, then we go off trip. And so they will end up losing.
But that's cheating, isn't it? And you're giving yourself away as a group, isn't it? What you intend to do. That you're bypassing the system now.
Because they've also refused to recognize us as stakeholders since 2016.
Right.
So this time around, we are now also going to match them boot for boot.
I see.
And that is that is exactly how we have to do now.
All right, Francis,
and so it's not friendly. And what I want to say is that we were not expecting to be here. We don't want to get to where we are now. You cannot do this in the US, in European countries, or in Russia, where Yango is coming from. They treat drivers as stakeholders. They are not even paying SNIT for us. There's no insurance. There's nobody's paying drivers. As we speak now, drivers are not being paid. How can you be working for a company without being paid? Because we are not workers. Regulate the sector. Let us be receiving salaries from our car owners. And then we can also be paying these taxes, which you have already overburdened us already. And so we are not really happy. So should something like that happen, then we will advise ourselves, and then we know how to go about. Let me give a typical example. We control Accra very well. Should a driver go on the road somewhere around Shiashi, will cause a little bit distraction. There will be so much traffic all the way to Lagos, all the way to Medina to Adenta. Those coming from the eastern region will be involved. Let me give you another example. If you go to Odoko, we can also hit Odoko, there will be traffic. We can hit Accra Mall, there will be traffic. We have so many ways that we can let traffic not really flow in Accra, because we've been driving a lot. And so we don't want to be pushed to a place whereby we will be hit on the street. We can be in our vehicles, roll our cars on our air conditions, and demonstrate on the street. But we don't want to get there. We just hope that GRA will actually engage us in a meeting, and then we actually have a peaceful understanding.
I see. Francis Kwekutenge, thank you. The Ghana Revenue Authority has meanwhile been justifying the tax on ride-hailing vehicles, insisting it forms part of measures to widen the tax nets. Commissioner General Reverend Dr. Amishadai also Amwa says they also want to target persons operating in the e-commerce space.
Sometimes people should understand, because it's the same people who say widen the net, widen the net. And like we started, you said we are focusing on the same people all the time, and we are creating fatigue. And then when we are trying to widen the net today, say, why are you going to this area? Why are you going to this area?
Because people are worried about the impact on the cost of living, because these firms would definitely pass on these costs to them. If without them, and you might be hitting your target, maybe let's excuse them.
So then where is the widening the net? So I think that is people should, and sometimes when they say these things, they said in 2 years in your baby, come out some sort of thing. It's important that we deepen and widen the net. And if there are some industry players, some sectors that are not in, it's important that we keep on looking at it. Because if there is somebody doing a business and that business is not on, for example, we talked about, in fact, one of the things that we put in our strategy is the emerging business lines and bringing those emerging business lines into the tax bracket. And when I say emerging business lines, this the ride-hailing apps is one example. The other apps that people use to buy things is one example. And I can tell you that since last year we implemented the what do you call it, e-commerce registration. We have seen a lot of revenue coming from that point.
How much has it brought in? Not specific, but just the range, maybe not specific.
In fact, we're getting roughly about 800 something million as at the end of it. We just have to check.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
But it has been significant, almost getting to $1 billion from that sector. I mentioned it at the last one of the events that I mentioned the figure. But the important thing is the fact that these are all business lines that are coming up. And sometimes they structure the company that you see those things. I heard you in Enjoy FM, you say you are doing a program on the betting?
Yeah.
Or there's something I heard
group about people,
about the fact that we are becoming so you are trying to look at that sector. Because you see that
you've already started applying some taxes in that area, of course.
So that's what I'm saying. That so as the economy is dynamic and we see these changes coming, if you don't also become dynamic and open your eyes, when I say open your eyes, focus and build, so we'll not be able to live. So we want Ghanaians to understand that we have heard their cry for us to widen the tax net. And so we are looking at the people who are not already in. So when we are bringing them in, you should appreciate it and clap for us for bringing them in, rather than saying, why are you bringing this one?
I think that
for example, the electricians, masons, artisans and those things, they are not in. When I say they are not in, I mean as the way you want it.
You cannot capture their work to tax them, this informal sector. Right?
Yes, and we are working on it. So when the time comes and we come out of the strategy of bringing them in, I hope we will understand that, and rather will say, oh, thank you for bringing them in. But as soon as that time comes, somebody will say, why are you going to them?
Let's look at the tax target in the 2024 budget and position to hit those targets.
I think so. I mean, it's an election year, but the target is 146 billion. In terms of the ability to hit that, I think that the measures we have put in place and the foundation that has been set is well able to meet that target. You know, as part of the IMF program, we have a medium-term revenue strategy. And this is part of the medium-term revenue strategy. And we think that we are on course and will be able to meet that target.
How has the compliance or the enforcement of the Ghana card itself also impacted on collections and being able to track individuals around?
Yeah, there's a lot we have to do as far as the Ghana card is concerned. So far, we have been able to reach out either through telephone calls or through visit or through text messages to roughly 400,000 people who were picked up from the Ghana card. And we are following up to make sure that they pay and also file. One of the things that is a challenge by which we are working on it is, as I said, is the compliance. Last year we were trying to look at, by something we think we are working on it to see how we can make some government services If you remember, if you talked about that, we not make some government services subject to you having a tax clearance certificate. But this has not been received yet. When I say received, it has not approved. You have not been approved. Okay. Yes. And that's one of the ways that we can make the compliance by design. So that if you and enjoying the service, you're supposed to have a tax clearance certificate. And today, what we have done is that the tax clearance certificate is actually automated in our system and can be pushed to every, what do you call it, agency who, if we do this compliance by design, will be required to look into it. And once we are pushing it, there's even a technology now that ensures that when you push it, it does not become visible to the agent who is using it. So, for example, if I push it to DVLA, and you go to DVLA, and DVLA say they want to check on you, so, they might not even need to see what is in there, but the system will just tell them. So the thing comes in a system that you don't see what is in there, but it tells you whether it is compliant or not. So to answer your question, yes, we are working on it, and we hope that we'll be able to be more effective to bring more people.
And Dr. Amishadai Osamwa there interacting with my colleague George Wefe. That interview will be aired on the business edition of PM Express, and catch that later at 9 p.m. tonight. Well, every user of diesel or petrol vehicle will now pay 100 Ghana cedis every year after Parliament passed the Emissions Levy Bill into law before rising for Christmas break. The government says this levy will help Ghana stay within its commitment to the climate change agenda. Minority Leader Dr. Kaisel Atuforsen says the tax has not been well thought through.
What sort of tax is this? It's regressive. It's regressive because the person using a motorbike should not pay the same tax to the person using Lexus NX 570. The Speaker, so we should be careful what we are legislating on. The Speaker, aside that, the second leg is a tax on carbon dioxide equivalent emission from specific sectors. The Speaker, and these are the sectors. Construction sector. So if you have a construction company and you produce any form of what I don't go describe as smoke, smoke. The Speaker, one ton of smoke is 100 Ghana cedis per annum. How are you going to measure that? Tell us, how are you going to measure 1 ton of smoke? The Speaker, 2 tons, 200 Ghana, 3 tons, 400 Ghana, 4 to 5 tons, 500 Ghana. So how are you going to measure it? You are taxing Okada, you are taxing Prajia, you are taxing Uber cars, you are taxing Trotro, and you are also taxing Mahama Kandu. Mahama Kandu, it's called Prajia, it's in the northern Ghana. This tax will not affect only the rich people. This tax will affect the lowest of our society, including the MPP food soldier. Including the MPP food soldier. The Speaker, this tax is an Okada tax. It's a tax on motorbike. It's a tax on Prajia. Remember, you are going back to your delegate. Tell them about what you are introducing. I believe that this tax is not properly thought through. The mechanism to assess the value or the tonnage of emission that one, based on the sectors, will emit. The Speaker, certainly, I know that it is not available.
Nigeria Minister Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh says the world is moving on from internal combustion vehicles, and this levy is to help propel the country to the new era of electric vehicles.
By 2030, combustion engines will be outlawed in parts of Europe, where most of our cars come from. We will not get those combustion engines or spare parts to come and repair those cars here. And it will become extremely punitive and even more expensive to even bring such car parts. The whole world is moving. I was with you in COP28. And we all learned the fact that the world is moving. The climate change agenda, Mr. Speaker, was assented to on behalf of Ghanaians by President John Dramani Mahama. And Ghana made its contributions, and it included trying to minimize pollutants. Yes, before the climate warming, if you wouldn't even learn about what is happening in this world, no wonder we are where we are. You are talking about taxing generators. In whose tenure did Ghana become populated with generators? Thank you. Because so when you have my brothers on the opposite side, blowing both hot and cold, that is what we will have in this country. Under President Mahama, we signed the Paris Climate Accord.
The Ghana Private Road and Transport Union, Abasi Morris, joining us for a brief conversation on this. First, though, what's the position of your group on this new levy that's about to come? Abasi Morris, if you can hear me, I'm just asking about, the position of your group, GPRTU, on this new levy.
Yeah, good evening and good afternoon to all viewers. Good evening, good afternoon to all viewers.
Abbas, if you can hear me, I'm asking what's the position on this emissions levy?
Yes, GPRTU, we've even written to the Speaker a letter signed by our General Secretary Godfred Abobiri. We said we felt that is a cheating on our part because already we are paying sanitation and pollution levy 10% on a liter. We are paying on this pollution. Then what another term they use, emission term, different terminology to tax us again. So we've written to the Speaker so that he presents it. We want to create awareness to our representatives in Parliament that no, this should be exempted or it should be changed. So we've written, we are not happy with it. Secondly, we also saw somewhere, I think, either chapter 3 or class 3 on the taxes. There is one tax also indicating that apart from personal taxes, the items in connection with the mobile vehicles, etc., we are also going to be, there will be another tax on those items. And we are saying we are already pending with the current prices. So we indicate that also in the letter we wrote to the Speaker as well. And surprisingly, First has also come up with another thing we felt it is bad. If your vehicle breaks down for about a year and you are unable to repair the vehicle, when you are able to repair the vehicle, you are being forced to pay for the period you were not using the vehicle. And if it is, say, for about a year and you have to pay about 100 Ghana cedis, you are going to be punished again. Another 200 for not paying your vehicle license for that period. And we have also talking about that as well.
Okay, so in all of this,
those in Parliament to defend us, not to destroy our business as well.
In all of this, I'm just wondering what the next steps will be. Will this possibly lead to, say, an increment in the transport fares?
Come again.
Is this likely to lead to an increment in the transport fares?
Yes, in the letter we indicated that if nothing is being done about it, we will increase our fares not less than 60%. We indicate this in the letter as well, that where we have gotten to, we are pleading with Parliament to do something about it.
And you are looking at 60%, you say?
We have no choice than to come out with the adjustment and make sure we live with the situation.
Okay, well, what's accounting for this 60%?
Not less than 60%, that is what we said.
Yes, I'm asking what's accounting for it, because it's just 100 cedis.
Normally,
the emissions.
We don't run transport with only these taxes that they are coming up with. We run transport with fuel spare parts, engine oil, lubricants, etc., etc. Look at the current prices on spare parts. And with this extra tax, fast tax on it again, meaning what we are crying over today is going to be worse than we are experiencing today. So we have so many components which involves in running transport. I see.
Any response so far from the Speaker of the House?
Come again?
Any response so far from the Speaker of Parliament?
No. For now, we haven't had any response. We are currently on break. We'll be resuming officially on the 12th. So hopefully by the time we resume officially, we might have received something from them.
Okay then. Grateful for your time. Bassey Moro works with the GPRTU, sharing their thoughts on this emissions levy and a possible, hike in transport fares. Not a good time, of course, for those of you who will be going in for those services. You're watching The Pulse on the Joy News channel. We'll get back with more. Please stay. Welcome back. Every market day, about 500 pupils in the OT region put their education on hold temporarily to embark on a journey that combines lessons in perseverance and also the pursuit of dreams. This is the story that sheds the light on the determination and resilience of young students in Ghana. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin takes us to Dambai, where the remarkable journey of the pupils began.
We are here in the bustling town of Dambai, in the heart of the OT region, where the local market serves as a backdrop for an extraordinary story of ambition and sacrifice. It is early morning and the air is filled with anticipation as young students, some as young as 10 years old, prepare for their unique daily journey. These eager faces belong to peoples who leave their textbooks behind and instead pick up tubers of yam and other goods. Their mission is to raise money for their educational needs.
Lakeside. My name is Joe Tumwa and I'm a student at Lakeside School. Currently, I'm in class 6. Unfortunately, I couldn't attend school due to a torn uniform. I informed my father about the situation, but he explained that he doesn't have the financial means to provide a new uniform at the moment. Additionally, my mother has traveled. However, I am determined to return to school as soon as I am able to acquire a new uniform.
Today is Monday, and one would expect that these children will be in school. Unfortunately, some of them are here to make money.
Your friend is
I am Yesuto. I carry yams on my head to earn some money because we were asked to buy books. Carrying the yams has a physical impact on me.
And how?
Yesuto Kojo is not alone. Hundreds of others share the same goal.
Since the reopening of schools, I haven't had any exercise books for my studies. To address this, I've been working in the market, carrying yams to help my sister raise money to buy books for me. I earn 7 Ghana cedis for carrying 100 silvers of yams. My parents live in the village, and when we ask them for money, they are unable to provide it. My sister also takes on various jobs in the market, and we pool our earnings to buy my books. I am currently in class 6. I require both exercise books and notebooks. Specifically, I need 18 exercise books. Each pack of exercise books costs 60 cedis.
Exercise book no see packet in the sister Ghana. And a notebook no back pay 8 cedis and I be 10 cedis. It's minimum notebook ni there minimum 5 minimum say about 5.
Here is a local teacher, Isaac Baba.
Most of the time, being a teacher and then being in a classroom on Mondays, you wouldn't see most of these guys in school. Most of them come to look for what they will get as the daily meal for the week.
My name is Bridget Ado. It is not a duty of the child to feed the home or to bring something on the table. But in some cases, you can't help it. In some cases, you can't help it. But what needs to be done is the mothers need to let them go and close and come in the afternoon to come and help.
At the vibrant Dambai market, these children enter a world of barter, negotiation, and hard-earned income. They work tirelessly until late afternoon when they begin their journey back home.
My name is Siafra. Those of us residing in Dambai are experiencing a state of poverty. Many of the children in our community are self-reliant as they are compelled to seek small opportunities in order to support themselves financially.
I
am known as Sofo Abdurrahman. The reality is that a number of children you observe in the market are actually orphans, and as a result, they must work in order to provide for their own needs.
Despite this routine, these children remain committed to their studies.
I need to earn some money to cover the cost of the textbooks that were sold to us at school. The books are priced at 30 cedis. While my father is at home, my mother is currently at the market. Whenever I request money to purchase my school supplies, my parents accuse me of simply wanting money to spend.
It is clear that these children are willing to go to greater lengths to secure their education and chase their dreams, but it raises questions about access to quality education and the support system available to them.
In our municipality, you have some major towns which have markets on working days.
Al-Hassan Zulkiful Osman is the leader to all security supervisors in the Karachi East municipality.
We have traced the causes. One major cause is parental irresponsibility. Some parents think that the children are those who must help them to do their buying and selling in the markets. You see a young child of about 6-7 years carrying things to go and sell.
The municipality has 4 market days and about 500 children miss school every market day.
You have Injari, Thursday, you have Dambai, a major town, is Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday. You have Airam Thursday, Askoko Thursday, Paripari Friday. All these days, you go to the towns there and children of school-going age, they are in the markets selling. Some of them doing some odd jobs in the markets. Close to about 500 children can be found in the market. Some sewing to get something. They have to go and sew sacks. Some they have to go and carry yam. Some parents give them things to go and sell, and a host of things they do in the market.
Al-Hassan also mentions another challenge.
The cry of poverty is what is they say is the reason why they do that. Parents bring children from those areas to town to come and have education, but when they bring them here, where do they stay? So they end up now nobody to supervise them, and sometimes getting food to eat becomes a problem. So they have to go and do those things to fend for themselves.
Razak Benedicta Sakina is a girl child education coordinator at Mepekope MA Basic School. She says the situation of children fending for themselves is alarming.
In my school, it's very, very alarming. You know, my community is a fishing community, and so usually on Mondays, parents take their wards to the market to go and help them sell, especially their fish. And another problem is that most of these students fend for themselves, and so they would have to go to the market.
Sakina paints a picture of how the situation is in her school.
Market days, from Form 1 to Form 3, we have about half of the school not coming to school on market days. You just go to the classroom and then you realize few students in the classroom sitting to learn. Yeah, that is the situation, how serious the situation is in my school.
She touches on teenage pregnancy.
Yes, talking about teenage pregnancy, for some years back it was very alarming, because after these girls go to sell, sometimes they visit boys and stuff. And for some years, I think 3 years back, it was alarming. But with education and then speaking to parents and all that, I think it is reducing drastically.
For now, I can't give specific figure, but a lot of dropouts as a result of this market. If these children continue to go to the market, dropouts will continue. These children end up becoming a burden to the society.
As these children continue their incredible journey, they remind the public of the enduring power of education. Their dedication and resilience are testament to the potential that exists within every child. It is the collective responsibility of stakeholders to ensure that they receive the support they need to strive both in and out of the classroom. Al-Hassan says separate meetings, discussions and sensitizations have been held, but the resultant effect is yet to be felt.
A lot of education. Mondays, we go to the radio station, we buy airtime, we talk and talk and talk and talk. So it's a serious situation, and we are, anyway, we will not throw our hands in despair. We'll still be finding a way of trying to get them out of market. We have tried that in 2015 to go to the market, get them and get their parents, and find a way of resolving that issue. So we arrested the children in the market and announced for their parents to come. Their parents came. Their parents even ran away and they didn't come close at all. And at the end, feeding these children and became a problem, so we had to release them.
The inspiring story from Dambai serves as a poignant reminder of the challenges many children face in their pursuit of education and the incredible determination that drives them forward. They hope their efforts will inspire positive change and a brighter future for all. A report by Mohammed Nuruddin.
Okay, so let's hear now from Dr. Peter Anti, Executive Director for the Institute of Education Studies, who's joining us now. And Doc, I must say that it might be an OT region problem, but of course, this worrying story. What kind of solutions are you proposing now for us to deal with this issue, which is also being, admitted some way or somehow that it is a national problem, because we have similar situations happening across the country?
Yeah, thank you very much. And it's quite unfortunate watching this documentary. But as I always say, it's good that we bring all these things out for the policymakers and other stakeholders to really understand what is happening in some of our other places that we are not throwing light on. I think the first thing we need to do is to admit that this challenge is both parental and then assistance failure. It's parental because under normal circumstances, parents are supposed to take care of their wards. And I've said that in this country, if a parent refuses to do what he's supposed to do, the system can take him up or her up and then force him or her to undertake that particular activity of taking care of the child. So it is important that we look at it, we tackle it from that parental perspective, by continuous education and engagement with the people using the various authorities that we have within that particular jurisdiction. So that is one thing that we can look at. Another thing that we have to look at is it is systematic. It is systemic because the system that we have created is supposed to ensure that the child going to school enjoys free, basic, compulsory, universal education. Now, if that is what it's supposed to be, then why would the child find himself or herself in the market selling to be able to get money and buy certain things that will enable him enjoy education? So that is the problem. We talk about some of these policies on paper. We tout them when we meet the media. But when you go to the ground, it's a different story. And that is why sometimes when we hear the authorities talking and touting the transformative agenda, and we, those who are on the field, we know what is happening, it becomes a little bit difficult for us to accept. And we ask ourselves, are these people really on the ground, and they know, are they aware of what is really happening on the ground? Because these are kids. They are supposed to be in the school. By the government policy, the textbooks and the exercise books are supposed to be given to them by the government, and it's for free. But these kids do not have them. They don't get them. So in order for them to get them, they have to leave the classroom, go and trade something, and then the money that they get, they told you, they are going to use it to buy textbooks and then buy exercise books. So where lies the policy that ensures that these kids are given the needed resources? And that's what I'm saying, that it's systemic.
Yeah, and you talk about parental care, at least. That could go a long way to complement what you say government is failing to do.
Hello, can you hear me?
I was just talking about the aspect of parental care and pointing out that could go a long way to complement what government should be doing.
Exactly, and that is why some of us we've said that you cannot take the parent out of the educational communication of the child. I mean, when talking about the issues of education, you cannot take the parent out of it. But we know how some of government policies have been communicated to parents, and at a point in time, parents felt that they have no responsibility towards their wards. But that should not be the case. Parents should be responsible. They brought these kids to the earth, and they owe them the duty to ensure that they get the basic necessities of life, and one of them is quality education. So I think one of the things I've said already should be a continuous effort. I heard the gentleman saying that they go to radios and speak to the parents about that. I'm working on a project in the central region where we have identified the parents. We're doing a study. So for the past 2 years, we are engaging parents to ensure that they show interest in their wards study. Next year, we'll...
Dr. Antti? Okay. It appears we're having some challenge there. Apologies, Doc. I lost you briefly when you were just landing on the point about the project you're running in the central region.
Next year, we'll do an online study to see whether our intervention worked in terms of how we are engaging the parents and their interest in showing their ability to now show interest in the education of their ward. If that works, then it's something that we can also put out and ensure that other communities pick this up. But this is very typical of the coastal communities. The interest of parents in the education of the ward is sometimes or mostly down, and you need concerted efforts.
Okay, I see. But point well noted. Dr. Peter Antti is the Executive Director for the Institute for Education Studies, joining us here on the polls. We move on now, but stay within the Ashanti region, because the Ghana Fire Service has established the March 2023 inferno that swept through the new KGTR market in Kumasi resulted from cooking at a market. According to the Regional Fire Public Relations Officer, investigations conducted over the incident revealed a the fact that traders were cooking in a nearby shop, which hit a material and, of course, touched one of the floors at the market. The incident is one of the 916 fire cases recorded in the region from January to December 10, 2023, which killed 9 people. Emmanuel Bright-Kweku takes a look at this story.
On March 15, 2023, a section of the KGTR market was torched by an inferno, leaving many victims distressed. Properties and wares running into millions of cedis were destroyed by the fire. 9 months after the incident, the Regional Fire Service says the fire incident was instigated by cooking at the market. DO3 Peter Ade is the Ashanti Regional Public Relations Officer of the Ghana National Fire Service.
When you look at the Kidita market, are you done with investigations?
We are.
You're done with investigations. Can you share with us your findings?
So, from the reports that I've seen, I understand someone was cooking within the market and that led to the fire. The modern markets have put in place the necessary structures to prevent traders from cooking within their individual shops. Even this year, I think somewhere in November, we had somebody trying to heat water.
Which
with
one
this
the
old heater. And it nearly led to fire.
Another fire?
It nearly led to fire, yes.
The fire incident is one of the over 900 cases recorded in the region from the beginning of the year to December 10, 2023. The figure represents a 13.42% reduction on the number of cases recorded under the same period in 2022. 9 fatalities were recorded from these cases, although a reduction from the 15 lives lost in 2022. Peter Ade says the estimated cost of damaged property also shot up astronomically in the year, although a significant cost of salvaging properties was made.
As much as we're excited about the fact that we've reduced the numbers when it comes to fires for the year 2023, per the data we have, the estimated property damage cost has gone up.
In 2023, it went up to 226 million 701,206.
What kind of
this has gone up? This fire, the KGTR fire, contributed so much to the figure. The cost of salvage or salvaged items has also gone really high. It's moved from 34,231,245 to 370,050,480 cedis.
By far, 6 fire incidents have been recorded during the Christmas season in the region. The figure represents a reduction on the numbers recorded for the same period last year. That's about 10 of them. Well, with the Hamilton setting in, the Ghana National Fire Service is admonishing the public to take precaution during the season. For Joy News, my name is Emmanuel Brightspeed.
Well, in the wake of the recent fires, the Ghana Fire Service has been sharing some tips on how to stay safe, particularly during the festive season. Joy News' Suti Abochi spoke with Assistant Divisional Officer Alex Kinati.
There are 3 components of fires: heat, fuel, and oxygen.
Right.
Oxygen is all around us. Fuel is some of the oil that leak from the car, and then the heat already coming from the car comes together, making the 3 elements complete and then starting a fire.
Right.
So it's important to always look out for leakages in your car, and if you see leakages, try and have it sorted out before it gets out of hand.
And keep a fire extinguisher in your car.
That's the most important thing.
I know the things.
Thank you very much. You see, the funny thing is that people think that when you come, you just have to come and pour water on it. See, we don't fight every fire with water just like that.
What kind of fires do you fight with water, and which ones don't you fight with water?
So we don't fight electrical fires with water, or we don't fight fires that involve oils, or liquefied petroleum gases with water. A classic example is this unfortunate incident that happened at Circle, where people lost their lives. You realize that on that day it was raining. It was raining so bad. So if water...
The Vienna incident, yeah.
If water could quench every fire, why did we have that disaster on that day? Because then the fire service wouldn't even have had to come there because there was so much water there.
Yeah.
So that should let people understand. Even if you're frying your own plantain at home, and then you dip your plantain in water, and then you put it in the oil, you see the chi that you get. So imagine the chi.
Right.
You know,
okay.
Literally.
Please continue from the chi and tell us all the other things that we should look out for in the domestic setting. Okay.
So then when you do that, you realize that, so imagine if it's a big fire with so many oil and you just go and pour water on it. You can imagine the kind of feedback that you get from that. So that is how we don't fight just every fire. So if we get to a place and realize that the fire has to do with electricals, then we call on ECG to cut power supply to the area before we're able to apply water on the fire.
All right.
So when our men get there, we've called on ECG to cut power supply and there's a delay, then they'll draw conclusions that we've come without water. Because at the end of the day, we came to service the good people of Ghana, but not to die. So if there's
our lives are also
very important. If we get there and there's electricity power, you realize that even if you have a little water in your hand and you get close to an electrical appliance, you see the shock that you get. So imagine if it's an electrical fire and you go and pour water on it, you end up even killing people around you. So people should understand the way we work and appreciate it.
Your 5 top key fire safety tips for the home.
For the home. Yes. 1, keep your gas cylinders at home, outside and not inside the kitchen.
Right.
In that case, if there's any leakage from the gas cylinder, the thread dissipates into the air and reduces the risk of fires coming inside. Also, when you fill your gas, please do not, when you fill your gas and you come home, please do not immediately connect. You can connect it, but do not immediately engage the gas and start cooking.
Why
Wait till you see, gas expands. So once you know it's been in the car moving up and down, it's been expanding. You need to let it settle so that it can, it can reduce any risk. So that's one thing. Also, people should learn to put off their appliances at home.
That's 3.
Yes, that's 3. Occasionally, run your hoses, your gas tube through soapy water. Engage the gas tube and then close the, close the lid, and then run it through soapy water. So once you look out for bubbles. If you see bubbles coming out, then you know that there's leakage in your gas cylinders.
Okay.
Also, people should avoid burning. At first, we used to say indiscriminate burning, but if you can avoid burning altogether, that would be the best, because fires carry embers. So you realize that when you are burning, the embers keep flying into the air. Because of the Harmattan season, there's dryness or lack of moisture in the environment. So the fire might not start in your house, but then the embers might fall on a combustible material somewhere. To take its time to smolder, and when people are not around, then the fire becomes so light. The 5th one, the most important, please get a fire extinguisher at home. People prioritize, as I said, their security more than their safety. So people have a lot of burglar proofs and a lot of padlocks, and even have security cameras at home, but wouldn't have a single fire extinguisher at home.
But now we take you to Tema, because masquerading has become part and parcel of the festive season in Ghana, and also the port city of Tema is no exception. Despite some misconceptions about masquerading, it has evolved, with groups such as the Labour Masquerading Society in Tema moving away from asking for gifts to giving back to society throughout the year. Speaking to Joy News at this year's float, Secretary of the group, Alan Kwafo Apiedu, says one of their core goals is to help the youth stay away from social vices. Correspondent Kwame Yanka has the rest of the story.
This year's float started at Labour Masquerading Society's grounds at Tema Community 4. With brass band and their beautiful costume, both children and adults sang, danced and marched from Community 4 through to Community 9 as residents stepped out of their homes and shops to catch glimpses. After a short break at Community 9, the Labour Masqueraders returned to Community 8, where other groups had made a stop to prepare towards other events ahead. Labour Masqueraders believe they have a critical role to play in instilling discipline in the youth to keep them away from social vices. Alan Kwafo Apiedu is the Secretary of Labour Masquerading Society.
So as I discipline ourselves on the streets, one major thing we've also tried to do is that we've drawn a lot of people from social vices such as pickpocketing, alcoholism, smoking, petty theft, and petty offenses, which generally is against, our laws in Ghana. So we try as much as possible to also do that. Also, let me touch a little bit about education. What we also do is that we are interested in the welfare and the educational needs of our people. So time in, time out, we have designated executives which we've assigned to the young members we have their homes. So what they do is that time in, time out, they also try to check up on their academics, on how they fare at home.
President of Labour Masqueraders Society, Edward Abeku-Kwafo, says the club will be renovating a basic school at Community 4 as part of their activities.
This year, 14th of February, that's a chocolate day. We embark on a walk in distributing chocolate to, the society, the less privileged, and the society at large. And also, we have something we call Labor Day. That's where we select a particular orphanage in Tema to visit and do our donation to them, to them at large. That's what we make basically. We don't only just do kakamotobi or masquerading. We go beyond kakamotobi and masquerading. Okay, so they will have Committee 4, number 2 basic soup down here. We have taken upon ourselves that next year, we wanted to do it this year, but according to the headmistress, the time is too short. So next year, we are going to renovate the place by painting the whole block.
Patron of Labour Masqueraders Society and Protocol Officer at TDC Development Company Limited, Ian Okwe, is happy to be part of the group and what it stands for.
Every year, people are talking about Takrad, but we want people to see that the masquerade in Tema is big and better with Labour Masquerade. You can look at the crowd, and we are not just the normal masquerade. The reason why we are called Labour Masquerade is because there's a lot of professionals who come from diverse backgrounds. And we are in not to ask, but we are in to give out on Christmas Day. So I'm here representing my friends from the professionals, the people from diaspora who have joined us. We promise to be good on the streets. We'll guide all the children, and then we'll come back with a very big fiesta at the end of the day with a carnival.
Meanwhile, member of the club, Susanna Yurinchi, is encouraging parents to allow their wards to be part of the group, which will imbibe in them dedication to serve and patriotism.
Oh, the American say, Obi Anfane Nebambra, Eyenije. Omo Shankwalani, Bibia Kama, Bibia on point, Adriane Insu.
I urge all parents to allow their children to join this group. Here, they will learn to coexist, build their confidence, among other qualities. I want to say a big thank you to all executives of this club, as well as Honorable Ninoy, for the job well done.
And I come and pay for no so.
Labour Masqueraders Society says some people have the misconception that the art is meant for dropouts and miscreants only. Kwame Yankes reports for Joy News.
Well, it is hands down the most anticipated date in the new year, and now Joy News can reveal that the longer-awaited return of the 90s Jam will happen on Friday, the 5th of January 2024. DJs will take turns to take patrons on a journey down memory lane. Acting Programs Manager at Hits FM, DJ Black, is joining me with more. And of course, Black, so finally, we know that the date is set, but where will this go down? That's the question on everyone's mind now.
The Accra Galleria, which is behind the Accra Mall, or beside the Accra Mall, depending on where you're standing, or where you're coming from.
Yeah. And we know that this 90s Jam has been away for a while. What should we expect this time around?
Well, it's been away for 3 years, so you should imagine the excitement that we all have bringing this back. We're all excited to bring the 90s, experience to those who've not been there. Those who's going to be the first time, and for those who've experienced this, I know we're all looking forward to it. So, of course, It promises to be exciting and, of course, bring out all the fun that was in the 90s.
And the question is, what's a 90s jam without DJ Black? Are you going to be there as well? DJ Black? Okay, it appears we're having some challenge there. We'll just reconnect with DJ Black. DJ Black is back with us. I was just asking the question about who's going to be on the bill and the fact that many fans are expecting to just be thrilled by your 10 tables. Are we expecting you back this year?
Definitely, I'm going to be on stage, and the Dusty is going to be on stage. We also have some surprise guest DJs who are going to be on stage.
And we're indeed grateful. We'll definitely be looking up to that. DJ Black, Acting Programs Manager at Hits FM, joining us to talk about the return of the 90s jam. And as we wrap up, former First Lady has donated a large quantity of foodstuff and also some prestige goods to the inmates of Gambaga Witch Camp at Gambaga in the Northeast region. Correspondent Liasu Tanko has the rest of the story.
Lady was accompanied by staff of the Lordina Mahama Foundation and some regional executives of the National Democratic Congress Party. She was especially welcomed with a song by the inmates. The items presented included many bags of rice, cooking oil, beverages, bottled water, toiletries, and wax prints. Mrs. Lordina Mahama emphasized the long-standing positive relationship between her Lordina Mahama Foundation and the camp, adding that the donation was in line with the motto of the foundation.
For many years, I have adopted your community as one of the beneficiaries of activities under the Lordina Foundation. Even when I cannot be here in person, I have always made sure that twice a year you have received your share of whatever little we have. This is in line with our motto: the more we share, the more we have. My connection to the camp has strengthened me, my belief in the importance of showing compassion in every possible way.
The Gambaga Witches Camp in 2012 was adopted as a permanent beneficiary of activities of the Lordina Mahama Foundation. Since then, the foundation has provided and continued to provide numerous support and intervention to the camp and its inmates. The Lordina Mahama Foundation started the construction of a skill training center to provide skills training to the alleged witches and their dependents. The project, however, has been abandoned after the change of government. Mrs. Mahama expressed her sadness over the development, but encouraged the inmates to keep their hopes alive and not despair, as she promised not to give up on them.
The center would have benefited both the young and the old, reaching and teaching, giving them skills that they could use to support themselves in life. I was deeply saddened when I learned that the building was destroyed by fire and abandoned. But please, never be despaired. The Lordina Foundation has not given up on you, and I, Lordina Mahama, will never abandon you.
The former First Lady also pledged to continue her advocacy against stigmatization and discrimination whilst appealing for the passage of the anti-witchcraft bill.
I will continue my advocacy to address the stigma and discrimination our sisters and mothers face. It is my prayer that the anti-witchcraft bill will be passed into law soon, so that no more of our mothers and sisters will be subjected to this kind of wicked treatment. I wish you all Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Speaking after receiving the donation, the coordinator of the camp, Reverend Gladys, expressed gratitude for the gesture.
Mama Excellency, We thank God for your life and thank God for the numerous support you have been given. I've been here shortly, but I've heard the good works. And whenever you visit here, it's all over the news. And God richly bless you. Our prayer is that your good work will always follow you.
Well, that's all we have for you in this package of The Pulse. I'm Blessed Sogan. Log on to myjoyonline.com. We have stories for you there. Thanks for your company. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.